don't know how she did it. I don't know how she fed us. I don't know how she dealt with us. All the different attitudes, all the different temperaments. I don't know how she did it and still remains sane to this day. 33 years later.
5 kids.
5 kids. I have 5 kids in my house. I'm trying to feed them. I don't think you guys understand how difficult it is getting them up and ready and out to camp on time. Like, shout out to all the parents that have more than 2 kids because the struggle is really real. Shout out to you who can feed them. I went grocery shopping like 7 times already. They eat everything. How you eat 16 yogurts in 2 hours?
2 hours.
I was pissed. They ate 16 yogurts in 2 hours. I'm done.
You got a little village over there.
I do. It takes a village to raise. Who wants to help me raise this village?
You're going to start a GoFundMe.
A GoFundMe. You know what? But shout out to all the parents that are hardworking, that all that dedication, all that love, all that money. Shout out to you because y'all the real MVPs. I really, as far as our grandparents go, our great-great-grandparents, my great-grandmother had 13 kids. I don't know how she did it.
13 kids?
13, yes. My Aunt Neat had another 13 or 14. My whole family got a whole bunch of kids. I don't know how they did it, but shout out to all the parents who are holding it down. As far as traffic is concerned, get to where you need to be, baby. Our wife is down to 20 miles an hour, which is really good for this time. There is a disabled vehicle, and this is on the Mass Pike. So just be mindful for those that are going west. There's a disabled vehicle. It's all the way on the right-hand side. There's a small pocket on Tremont Street down to 16 miles an hour. That Braintree-Quincy split is looking good at 41 miles an hour. Then you're coming into the city at 55 steady. As far as news is concerned, a group of Black children ages 6 to 10 were arrested for not breaking up a fight. I'm sorry, are they adults? They are sure not. This happened in Tennessee. Be from Tennessee, where you at, baby? A group of African-American elementary school children ages 6 to 10 were arrested at school, handcuffed, and hauled off to juvenile detention for not breaking up a fight off school property. Don't come for me unless I send for you. I don't know how people, when we read some of these stories, I don't understand how these parents allow these things to happen. And not even just allow these things to happen, but we have Houston, we have a problem. Tennessee, we have issues. The incident outraged parents at Hobgood Elementary School and surprised many of the neighborhood. Police saw a video of an off-campus fight between 2 children and showed up at school. They handcuffed the students and drove them to the juvenile detention center where they were charged with criminal responsibility of another. 6 to 10. They were 6 to 10. Again, I have a house full of kids. I have a 6-year-old and I have a 10-year-old at my house. You can't hold them children responsible for not eating 16 yogurts, let alone breaking up a fight.
Babies.
They're babies.
Babies.
Responsibility. How you gonna charge me with responsibility of another? Take me to court. Let's go to trial, because you ain't finna responsibility of another. You need to go check the parents of the children that were fighting, because those are the ones that are responsible for somebody else. I'll leave that there. You can check that out on your own time. That threw me for a loop. Here are the new faces on the $5, the $10, and the $20 bills. Hallelujah. On the front of the $20 bill, we have Harriet Tubman. Hallelujah. On the back of the $10 bill, Susan B. Anthony. Or Elizabeth. So they haven't chosen for she don't need to be on nobody's bill. Look at her.
Who the hell is
I
that?
don't know. I watched. They're gonna choose her though, because she's just funny to look at. That is Lucretia Mott. Was born in 1793. She was a Quaker who was devoted herself to women's causes. She played a key role in organization of Seneca Falls Convention. Oh, the Seneca Falls Convention was a big deal. Lucretia Mott. Look, I'll leave that there. But hey, we have Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill.
Can we get
Do
the
you
first
know
Black president on some money here?
Yeah, right. Q said, "Can we get the first Black president on some money?" You reaching now, Q. You're reaching.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
It would be nice, huh?
It would be nice.
You're reaching. One of the things that I do want to remind you of, dinner dialogue on education. Remember today, starting at 5:30, ended at 8 p.m. with elected officials. Baker will be there. Presley at large will be there. Chang Diaz will be there. Wu will be there. Campbell will be there. And of course, the beautiful Miss Gloria Fox, who is on her way out, will also be there with Ron Dorsey. And this is FII. Remember, we had this conversation yesterday with Julia Mejia, taking back this conversation and directing the narrative and setting our own table. You guys remember that? Setting our own table. Shout out to Phenomenal Moms. Shout out to FII and UC Boston. I'm excited. I can't wait for tonight. And news that really doesn't matter. That's not nice. China, you guys remember China from WWE?
Yo, I just saw that on the way up here.
Yeah, she died.
That's crazy, man.
I really don't like to cover entertainment news, but I don't like death either. So Give respect when respect is due.
Yeah.
China was found dead from a possible overdose at home at the age of 45 after a career as the most dominant female wrestler ever. Her name was Joan Marie Laura. She stormed into WWE wrestling scene as China in 1997. The 45-year-old was found dead in her Redondo Beach home on Wednesday. Successful career saw her beat some of the top male and female fighters. I can't believe they actually put that in the news because wrestling is fake. There's not a real move in wrestling except for walking into the... Yeah, she had a dope body. You know who she reminded me of? Xena Gloria, was it Warrior Princess?
Yeah.
Was that her?
No,
she looks like her though.
A little bit.
She does. She looks like her. So, allow me to stand on my soapbox. All right. So, I get the press releases prior to anything. Like press releases come in, I read them, I post it, I tell you guys about it, I inform, whatever. So, a press release came in a few months ago. I want to say maybe in December, maybe in January, of from the mayor's office, talking about the mayor's office is going to be doing some excavations at the former home of Malcolm X, and that this is a really big, this is really big. So when I read that press release, I was trying to understand first and foremost, why are we not restoring the former house of Malcolm X? Why aren't we updating the former house of Malcolm X? Why aren't we preserving the former house of Malcolm X? Why are we excavating the former house of Malcolm X? It didn't make sense to me. I didn't even report it, and I know it was a big thing, and the news stations were out there, but it didn't feel right in my soul, in my spirit, to even tell you that they were going to bring archaeologists and junior archaeologists to dig at Malcolm X's house. First and foremost, I thought it was disrespectful. Now, I understand that the family was involved and was perfectly okay with it. It was like, yeah, come on, because we ain't did no work in about 30, 40, 50 years, so this could be a good thing, right? Archaeologists digging at Malcolm X's former home find toys and broken dishes from activist time in the 18th century. Why did they find kitchenware and ceramics for more than 300 years old? Why aren't we digging in anywhere else in the city except for Malcolm X's house? One of my first questions when I read the press release is, what do they know about the land and what are they trying to find?
That was my question. What's the whole point behind
this? What do they know about the land? What are they trying to find? And covering it up we're bringing junior archaeologists to dig up Malcolm X's old home. That it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, first thought was just like, what evidence are they looking for?
Exactly.
They think they hit it. They're looking for some money.
They're trying to plant some drugs back
there. Exactly. They're trying to taint his image. They found something that they weren't supposed to find. They've been seeking it for the last. I really thought there was something. They found dishes and ceramic ware more than 300 years old. Mm. That ain't no accident. Somebody knew something about something. It was just like, hey, I think we should dig there.
Whatever they find, they're not gonna put in no museum. You know that. So
hold on, Q. Put it on your lip.
I say, you know what? Whatever they find, they're not gonna throw it in a museum. So I'm surprised that hasn't been like a historical site
All right, thank you.
forever. I mean, that's a part of history. That's a part of our history here in Boston. You know what I'm saying? That should have been done a long
Good
time
rising,
ago.
good rising.
Good rising, everybody on Periscope. Shout out
to Periscope. Shout out to YouTube. I was aggravated. I was all the way aggravated. So they started digging. The 2-week dig, which began on March 29th, was meant to shine light on Malcolm X's formative years in Boston. I don't know how digging in the dirt brings back the glory of Malcolm X. Tell me how the excavations, the digging in the dirt, the archaeologists, the junior archaeologists, the student archaeologists, what exactly are you looking for trying to find? Soapbox down. I'm done. Please open your mind and kind of think, read the news and think, just ask some damn questions. Just ask some questions. Don't believe all that you hear. Believe nothing that you hear. Half of what you see. And what is it? Nothing that you hear, half of what you see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Whatever.
Something like that.
I feel like George Bush. Yeah, fool me. Fool me. You can't fool me again. 5 former cops jailed for a total of 189 years for shooting 2 armed people dead after Hurricane Katrina will now be free within 6 years after making a plea deal. Hold on, maybe you didn't get that the first time. 5 former cops jailed for a total of 189 years for shooting 2 unarmed people dead after Hurricane Katrina will now be free within 6 years after making a plea deal. Please tell me where 189 years went. Where'd those go?
Down the drain.
The plea deal. Robert, Anthony, and Arthur were all convicted over shooting in 2011. Robert Falcon was given 65 years. Bowden and Javisis got 40 years. Villaso was jailed for 38 years. Cuffman was jailed and got a 6-year sentence. But men were giving a fresh trial after prosecutor misconduct was revealed. All of them pleaded guilty to lesser charges in return for reduced sentences. The 4 men still in jail will now be released within the next 6 years.
Wow.
Your life doesn't matter. Because had I murdered an unarmed person and got 46 years, guess how long Tayla's staying in jail for? Maybe 45.
A pretty long damn time.
You going to jail today? I don't understand. I don't get it. Well, Tayla, some of the cops were black. I don't care. I don't care. If you kill an unarmed person, I don't care what your race is. I don't care what their race is. You need to be locked up. And you never need to have a weapon ever again in life when you do get out. But as we know, half these police officers will go back to being police officers or working somewhere in civil service or maybe even security. Feds are currently investigating the Panama Papers for crimes committed by Americans. U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara says his office has opened a criminal investigation regarding the matters to which the Panama Papers are relevant. Other details about Bharara's investigation are not currently known. As a U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Bharara has jurisdiction to investigate and prosecute Wall Street financial institutions. Where's Elizabeth Warren at when I need her? I love this. That is hero of the day. Shout out to him. So I know it's not Freaky Friday. I know you probably don't want to hear this story, but our governments have been lying to us for years. I'm just gonna say that.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. UFO hunter says that he saw time-traveling aliens leaving Earth through a wormhole on an ISS live feed in the latest bizarre claim. Now, I don't know if you guys remember a few stories I read, one last year, one the year before, about UFOs being found on the NASA's feed. So NASA has this feed where you can watch the Earth rotate, you can watch the sun, right? You can watch all that on, I don't know what it's connected to. It's connected to one of those.
You said it's live?
It's a live feed. You can watch it all day, every day. If you have no life, you can sit in front of the computer and watch the live feed of Earth and its surrounding area.
Really?
Yes. Post claims ISS stream filmed a UFO near Earth in a giant energy beam. In one theory, UFO hunter says the beam is from a UFO leaving the ocean, or he suggests that it may be a wormhole used to transport aliens through time. But the claim says it is nothing to worry about, just traveling aliens.
Yeah, we just pass it through.
No worries. But look at that though. And I bet you NASA's gonna come out with some type of it was a glitch in the computer, or it was a
balloon.
Yeah, there it is. It's a weather balloon.
It's a weather balloon.
No, it was a beam of light that was fractured and diamond, and they tell us everything and nothing at the same damn time. Sightings of this kind are not uncommon, and NASA has spoken out in the past to explain that the UFOs and other phenomena spotted in the ISS footage have been simple explanations. These objects may be a result of reflections from space station windows, structures from the ISS itself, or light from Earth. Really? Tell me what light from... I need that light. I need that light. I need that. Hold on, where...
What light?
Y'all see that? You see that light?
In space.
Where if you guys, let me post this right now on Facebook, because there's no way. What are those red beams?
That's what I was thinking. Those little
red beams that you can flash, and they said that they've been flashing pilots in the eyes and making them blind. That's what it was.
Yeah, okay.
I do believe in aliens. I truly do. I do not think that we are the only life forms on this earth, on this planet. There are galaxies and galaxies and trillions of galaxies that we have no knowledge of.
We are not alone.
I never believed that we were alone. No. I believe that this may be a freaking...
If we was, it'll be a waste of space. Think about it. If we was alone, it'd be just a waste of space.
You know what? If you watch The Flash, there's like an Earth 2, a parallel universe where everybody on this Earth is on that Earth but doing different things. I believe in a parallel universe. I believe that it's a possibility that all of us are aliens. Now, the whole reptilian thing, I do have questions about that, but I'll leave that there. We do have a caller on the line. Somebody about to tell me about how they believe in UFOs too. I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one, because some of these people out here look like aliens. So,
wow.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. 617-282-0062. Good rising, call you live.
Good rising, Tayla.
Harrison, how you doing, baby?
All right. Look, why do you think you have all your technology coming from? Out of the blue? No. Because remember, it had been war in heaven. Okay? So these beings, when they came on earth here, that's their prison. They did not come with their rings. They
Harrison
come
knows
with
everything.
spaceships. That's why they're still using them right now. And people on this earth know about this thing. It's to fool you. Remember I told you they never been to the moon? They never went there? They don't know what's out there? Because they cannot pass the Allen belt, the Van Allen belt. It's radiation. If they go there, they get fried. So nobody knows what's out there.
Hold on, Harrison. We about to go to Mars. We're about to live on Mars.
That's a lie.
Oh, no.
I think the picture they give you for Mars on NASA, they are Mojave Desert. That's what they are, because they found a squirrel on the thing that you say the NASA put every day.
I love
That's
Harrison.
a lie. They don't have a good picture of the Earth. They don't have it. They can't tell you that. Because the Earth is not round. The Earth is flat. And a lot of people know that. They don't want you to know. Because Copernicus is a guy who said the Earth is round. What type of scientist was he? How come he said the Earth is round without even travel out of space to see it? What you see is a painting, okay, what they give you. NASA is it's a Nazi organization. They will fool you, okay? And there is no planets. All these planets, they're telling you the universe, the black holes, and all that, they are creations. They want to play with your mind. Because without the Big Bang Theory, okay, you will not have planets. Those aliens you see, they are demons. Okay, they are here to destroy us, our lives. And people, human beings, some human beings are working for them and with them. They want to destroy us for our soul. Okay?
Harrison, when did you become a conspiracy theorist? Harrison said the earth was flat. The aliens are trying to kill us. He said, I know this. This isn't what I think. This is true. I know. Who told you, Harrison? How you know this?
Yes, because you see, the earth, right, is flat because God created it that way. The devil doesn't want you to know that he is here, but he is here. That's his land.
Harrison, we're going to talk about this some more on Freaky Friday. Because I think you done scared a lot of people. They switching the channel and everything.
I'm telling you, they want to destroy your soul. That's what it is. Put drugs in you, alcohol, and all that destroy your soul. Because the connection you have is with God. Only him. That's it.
I love you, Harrison. I appreciate you. Harrison said the world is... Harrison just shook up somebody's whole world right now. I think he's psychotic. Somebody's like, that man need medication. I can only imagine what's going through a lot of people's minds right now. Hey, you don't have to agree or disagree, but you can call 617-282-0062. Good Rise and Call you live. It's you.
Now you better be careful. Don't travel too far, because if you go over the horizon, you may fall off the edge of the earth and fall into the abyss.
You better leave my Harrison alone.
No, but you know, the United States, America is the only country that is holding out on the UFO information.
Absolutely. Russia has already, not announced it, but confirmed it. And Russia has made many statements against the United States of why they're trying to hold information from their citizens. I know Mexico is really big because they get a lot of sightings in Mexico. And the Mexican government is just like, we have new friendlies that flew over the house the other day. We got it on film. It's all right. They didn't want nothing. Like, Mexico is really, really, I feel like they're so cool with it. They're like, aliens are real. Sometimes they interact, sometimes they don't. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I know South America has a lot of activity as well, and they acknowledge it. For those who don't know, the United Nations has an individual that is the point of contact when aliens land. Why would you need a point of contact if they weren't real? We're cutting in the power hour right now, and we have an amazing guest that is about to call in. So maybe that'll be a Freaky Friday, because it's kind of freaky. A lot of people feel different ways about it, and we'll talk about the flat earth theory. And a lot of people believe about flat earth, and we live in the way that our life is set up is a hologram. So I love conspiracy theorists. They believe that the world is a hologram and we are all living a dream, and our reality isn't really what we believe it is. But we'll talk about that for a Freaky Friday. That's not like a Freaky Friday conversation. You guys know truth, love, compassion. I am truth, love, and compassion. Coleman G. Howard, are you on the line, baby? Hey, what's going on? We got Q Storm in the building too.
Q was good, my man.
Good morning, brother. Good morning. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Chilling, bro. Just enjoyed listening to your last guest, the last person who was speaking. I was kind of like, all right, I'm with you.
Hey.
I see what you're saying.
So you with the flat earth theory?
Nah, I ain't with the flat earth theory, but some of the things you've been talking about, I'm like, yeah, I sort of feel the same way in certain situations about the alcohol and the pollution of our spirit and stuff like that. So yeah, but the flat planet, I ain't too much with that.
It's okay. You don't have to agree or disagree. You just have to call 617-282-0062. Everybody has an opinion, and I love to hear all of them. But Coleman G. Howard, we have you on the line. Truth, love, compassion. I've been wearing your shirts for maybe the past 2 weeks, and people them out, and people have been taking pictures of them. Oh, I like that. The most popular was Little Black Girl's Dream too. That probably was the most popular one, the most photographed one, and the most where'd you get that from shirt. Little Black Girl's Dream too.
Yeah, and that is one of my favorite shirts because of what it implies. The Little Black Girl's Dream 2 and the Little Black Boy's Dream 2, those are two of my favorites, because those were the original ones, to be absolutely honest with you. So whenever people order those shirts, I always send them an extra special thank you note, because I know exactly what space they must be in to want to wear that shirt.
And let's expound upon that. What space do you think people are in when they wear those shirts or order those shirts or request those shirts?
That one, like a lot of educators order those shirts for their kids, and a lot of moms, the dads. So basically you're in a space where you know and understand how vitally important the ability to fuel and sustain the dream of a young person, because ultimately that young person is still us. That young person never leaves us. Like, I turned 45 this morning, and literally all of my insecurities and all of my courageous spirit comes from a 7-year-old kid. And then you work your way right back up to this moment. It's like the speed of light. Like, whenever I'm insecure, I'm not insecure because of what took place when I was 44 or 43. There's something that took place when I was a youngster. Oh, you can't do that. And then it flashes through your head really quickly, but then you come right back forward because you have all of those successes to help pull you out of that moment. But if you don't have that, then you get stuck in that space. So, like, empowering our young people to dream and know and understand that it's okay to dream, and there are no rules, there are no boundaries to dreaming. You ask a young person, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? My son, I wrote about this with my son when I wrote the piece Little Black Boy's Dream 2. My son, I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up, Abasi? He said everything under the sun, but the two things he would always say is, Dad, I want to be a school bus driver and I want to be an astronaut. So my thing is, I'm like, okay, these are two totally different things, but I need to let him know that he can do whatever he wants. So I'm like, listen, man, you could become a school bus driver and work Mondays and Thursdays. Ask your boss, could you get off on Fridays, and then you can fly to outer space for Friday, and you come back Sunday morning, and you can drive the school bus Monday. And my daughter at the time, she was getting at that age where she was sort of like questioning things because she had been in school for 2 years. And she was just like, Dad, he can do that? And I'm like, yeah, of course he can do it. Why can't he? And the look on his face was so amazing, because in that moment, he knew that no dream was too big to dream, and that they all had the possibility of becoming true.
Awesome. Aww.
And the dope part about it is, Tayla, the dope part, my son got a full academic scholarship as a biomedical engineer.
Wow.
What? Yes.
It's like he doesn't want to be an engineer anymore, but anytime I thought that he was having any type of a slippage in his schoolwork, I would always use his words of what he wanted to be to fuel him to do better in school. I'm like, listen, man, you can't be an engineer if you don't do well in your math and science. And from the time he put that dream into the air, I fueled it, but I fueled his dream with his own words, because I did not denounce his words. I gave life to his words. So now he has to give life to his words. Like, listen, man, you want to become an engineer, you got to be great in math and science. He was a demon in math and science, because that moment taught him how to dream, and that no dream was too big to dream. And that's what we have to do with our young people.
That is beautiful.
Hey, it's like in this very moment, you and Q are in essence fueling the dreams of a 7-year-old Coleman G. Howard who just so happened to be 45, because you always have that spirit in you. All your insecurities come from that small space in you, from when someone told you as a youngster, you can't do that. Or why would you do that? So if they question you on one thing, at 7, 8 years old, you're not savvy enough to compartmentalize it. You start questioning everything. And that's the problem with always telling the kid at a certain age, you got to tell them you can do anything. Because in their mind, why can't they do anything? Because everything is so new to them. It works with grown people because everyone has the soul of a 7-year-old boy or girl. That's the foundation of who they are.
So I'm feeling some type of way about what you're saying. And, you know, one of your shirts says we heal better when we heal together. And I'm thinking about how many broken people do we have walking these streets pretending to be whole? How many 7-year-olds are in 45-year-old bodies that grew up being told they were ugly, being told that they're not good enough, being told that they'll never be able, you can't do that. You're not smart enough to do, like, how many broken people do we really have out here that weren't, and I want to go back to a prior conversation that we had, weren't enveloped in love? And what does that look like? What does that look like for a man or for a woman that was enveloped in love versus a man or woman that was constantly told that they weren't good enough? And how do we heal those broken?
This is my thing. When I wrote that piece, it feels better when we heal together than when we hurt alone. It wasn't something that I sat down and say, whoa, I want to write this. What happened was the very first piece I wrote and I published it online. It was a letter, and the letter was titled, I Never Wanted a Superhero, I Just Wanted My Dad. So the genesis of this post, which was a letter, I wrote that letter and I was going to send it to my dad. But the fear of what he wouldn't say didn't allow me to mail that letter. So I wrote the letter and I tucked it away. Well, my dad passed away and I never had a chance to send him that letter. But I read it at his funeral. And so I just talked about all these amazing things my father taught me. And then it also talked about all the things that my father didn't do, but they also taught me amazing life lessons. And so when I published that letter, everybody started telling their story. Whether they came from a 2-parent household, but the father was absent, they came from a single-parent household, never met their dad. So everybody was telling their story in this one space. And so when I was reading the story, I was reading everybody's story, I was just like, whoa, this is kind of dope. And then that's when I just said, boom, it just hit me. It feels better when we heal together than when we hurt alone. And so then I wrote that piece, which turned into a shirt, because all of my shirts are a basic synopsis of a writing that I've already written and published. So then when I wrote that piece, it feels better to heal together than when we hurt alone. What I was basically saying is that, listen, the hurt will never go away to a certain degree. But what does feel good is the fact that you know that you're not alone. So many of us feel like we're alone in this journey, but there's nothing new under the sun that you or I can experience that's going to cause us hurt, because everyone has some type of a hurt that they're healing from. And we're perpetually healing from something. So that's why it's like it always feels better when we heal together. Because for me to ask the question, are you hurting from something? That's a foolish question, because we're human beings. So we're always healing from something. And we're healing at varying degrees. But who am I to judge that, oh, that shouldn't bother you as much as this should, or that shouldn't bother me as much as that should? The simple fact that you acknowledge that we're all growing in our spiritual journey, and that it feels better when we do it together. So we have to fuel one another positively, and also sometimes you have to fuel each other what perceived to be a negative emotion. But they're all just emotions, but we have to learn how to trust and heal in one another. And that's what that whole piece is about. That shirt is weird because when I first did that shirt, I did it exclusively with 1 Billion Rising, which is an organization that fights against domestic violence against women and children. So I was just like, wow, this would be a perfect organization to partner this shirt with. So I partnered the shirt with that organization for one whole year, and I gave back 20% of all proceeds just to that organization. Because who's hurting more deeply than a person who's been a victim of domestic violence? The people who you think supposed to love you and protect you are the ones that's harming you. So I was just like, yo, this is the perfect shirt for that.
As far as let's go back to the children, because I really like the analogy of all of us are 7-year-olds in grown people bodies. For an adult who's currently hurting, for an adult that's currently, has no experience of that positivity, has no experience of love, how do you begin, or what do you believe is the beginning of that healing? The healing of not knowing or not feeling like you're good enough. Like, you lack confidence. You don't have much of an ego. You don't have, you're really timid. You're shy. You might act out, to compensate for your lack of confidence. But when we heal together, how can one heal?
See, this is the deal right here. A lot of times, and I always go back to kids because literally it comes back to the same space. I don't care how old you are. I did a workshop at IBM, and they were all basically white executives, but their issues stems from when they were 7 years old. So whenever I work with anybody, and I do some life coaching, but a lot of people, I don't advertise it, but a lot of people, I do life coaching. So this is the key. I don't care who this person is. I don't care what age this person is. A lot of time what holds us up and what held me up from my personal experience is that you get attached on, I want this type of love from that type of person that I crave it from. And if you don't get it from that person, it's hard for you to accept it from anybody else because you are fixated on my dad, or my mom, or whomever it is that basically didn't love you in the way that you thought you deserved to be loved from that person. So then you start taking it out on everybody else, and you don't do it with a conscious mind. You do it with a subconscious mind. But I teach people all the time, what I tell young people all the time is that, listen, it may not come from who you think you want it from, but who you think you need it from. But when someone is choosing to love you, allow that person to love you. And then the process begins. Because if you don't accept love from people who truly want to love you, because the person who you want to love you is choosing not to love you in the way that you want them to, then you lose out on everybody. Love is love is love is love. It's like when Q and I first met, my thing is within a day, we talking, and I'm talking to him about the pillars of truth, love, and compassion, and you taking the time to let me share your time is your way of telling me and showing me how much you love me or how much you care about me. Because you could be simply a lover of humanity, and I'll receive all your love. I may not have known you no more than 5 minutes, but love is love. And so many people get hung up on who they want to love them as opposed to receiving the love from the people who want to love you. And this is one thing, T, I always say. I always say, love you in the way that you want to be loved. Sometimes people can't love you in the way that you need to be loved because it's so late. So I'm always one of those who think along the lines of, I can love you only in the way that I can love you. Now, if this is not, quote unquote, the way you want me to love you, then I can't love you the way you need to be loved. But I do love you. I do care about you. And a perfect example, once again, is kids. So many people want love to come with attachments. Like my kids, I'm like, no, I love you, but I'm not going to love you in the way that you think you want me to in this moment. Me telling you, no, you can't do this.
You don't love me.
Exactly. I'm so mad at that, the other. But in the long run, like now, all of the kids I mentor, I always would tell them. Back in the day, I would be like, have I ever lied to you? And then they would say, no. But now the question is, have I ever not loved you? Because when you give people authentic truth, even if it hurts, and the truth never hurts, the fact that you don't want to accept the truth is what hurts. The truth never hurts. The kid, we always laugh. The kid may call me like, yo, coach. I'm like, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. And the first question out of my mouth is, have I ever not loved you? And they'll say no. So now I'm ready to tell them what I need to tell them because they know. It's not who you get it from when you want it and the way you want it. It's just that if you're choosing to love this person and this person is choosing not to receive your love, it's never about you. It's always about somebody else. It's just that real talk. It's always about somebody else. So you do. And that's a rambling soliloquy to come right all the way back around to an adult that's in a space that is choosing not to receive the love from the person who wants to love them, as opposed to them wanting the love from the person who just may not be in a position to love them in the way that they want to be loved. So I'm gonna hold back receiving Q's love. I'm gonna hold back receiving the love you want to give me just because I need this person to love me first to validate me. Nah, that doesn't work.
So can we talk about how, so for those who don't know, we are currently on the line with Coleman G. Howard, one of the sponsors of the Wake Up with Tayla Andre show, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. We currently have Q Storm in the building with us. Say what up, Q.
What up, Q? Yo, see, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, man.
You got to do it the right way. Happy birthday to you.
I can't do that. She's doing it, man.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay.
That's that voice, baby. It's that voice.
I believe in everything that you're saying as far as love and truth and compassion. And I would like to start off with a conversation. I want to go back to a conversation that you and I personally had on your truth and your upbringings. Can we, who is Coleman G. Howard? And why are you this bundle of love trying to spread love through simple t-shirts? People don't wear t-shirts. You just putting sayings on a t-shirt. Like, why is this important?
It's important because it's so needed, right? I mean, it's like this is the most amazing time that we're in right now, as far as we're warring and we're tearing this world apart in every corner, and it's foolishness. So my upbringing, I'm the oldest grandchild on both sides of the family. I tell people this all the time. I'm the oldest grandchild on both sides of the family, and I'm a male. And I grew up with like 11 aunts. So that essentially means that I didn't start walking until I was probably about 3 years old, because they carried me everywhere. They kissed me and they hugged me, and I'm this dark-skinned guy. So I'm a 70s baby. So dark skin was not like that wasn't a thing. So when I finally left what I call my cocoon of love, because they cocooned me with so much love, my dark skin, I would tell everybody, like, listen, they call me chocolate drop. So I had an affinity for my skin color before I ever left the house, because the people who love me the most love my skin color the most. So the first time someone said something negative about my skin color, it really shocked me, because I had never heard anything negative about the color of my skin, because everything I heard was how beautiful my skin was. And to this day, some of my aunts still call me chocolate drop. And I know exactly what that means. But outside of my cocoon of love, people would say, call me darky and call me all these crazy words. I would be like, this is crazy. But my point is always, when I talk to young people and I talk to people in general, is that even though I was raised in this amazing cocoon of love, when I went outside, at some point when you start hearing these negative words associated with you, you begin to like question yourself a smidgen. And if you don't have the infrastructure that I had, you question yourself a lot. And before you know it, you start looking at yourself in a negative light. So as I grew up, I've always had this infrastructure where people just empowered me to be great and do great, but they never told me what great was or what great should be. They just always told me that you can be this and you can do this and you can, and I believed it, because the people who love me most told me I could do this. he would always talk about once I left the house, oh, you got big lips. And I'm thinking like, no, I don't. I have big, soft, juicy lips because that's what all my aunts tell me. And every time they see me, they always like, bring me those lips and give me. So we would laugh together. But then as time came around, now I have full lips. And my skin color isn't quite as bad as they thought it was. My crooked legs weren't so crooked after all. They were called bow legs. And this, and my aunts, once I started walking, my aunts loved it. Oh, look at this little crooked leg, look at these bow legs. And I'm thinking like, this is a good thing because they love it. But the scary part of it is that all of those things that I learned to love because the people who loved me taught me that I should love them. I know people who hate all of those same attributes because they didn't have people to enforce and reinforce that, yo, this is a beautiful thing. So that's pretty much how I was raised. I was raised in a family of cocoon of love, the oldest grandchild on either side of the family, plus I'm a male, and they just empowered me to be whoever I wanted to be. And I tell people when I was younger, if I fell down and cried, they didn't tell me, boy, stop that crying. You soft and this, that, and the other. They allowed me to cry. They allowed me to express my emotions. They would just pick me up and, oh, it's okay, but never, you soft or you shouldn't be crying. Boys don't cry. They never did that. They just allowed me to go through whatever I need to go through to get back to where I needed to be. And that was a huge part of my development because they were teaching me compassion at such a young age. And it's just become who you are when that's what you're taught. And that's why it's so vitally important that we teach our kids how to dream and empower them in any way that we can. So that's pretty much my upbringing in a nutshell.
Not all of us were raised like that. Not all of us know what it means to be loved in that capacity. That sounds like some unconditional love that a lot of us have no idea what that feels like. And that's why some of us are in broken relationships now because the relationships we had when we were 7 years old were broken. And now as an adult, we think broken relationships are okay because it was the norm throughout our life. But how do we break that cycle, Coleman? How do we, because many of us don't have, we don't have it. We don't have that love. We didn't have that love. We don't know how to give that love to our children.
E.T., you just said something that I hear all the time. And it's about because you wasn't raised in a certain situation, got it. That's so very true. But the piece that always comes behind that is that so we don't know how or we don't understand. But I truly, truly believe when you're in a broken relationship, you as an individual know that this isn't good. You know it's not good because of how it makes you feel. You know it's a bad space. I mean, it's like I've never been in an abusive relationship. So the fact that I've never been in an abusive relationship does not deter me from the fact that I completely know and understand that that is not the way to live in an abusive relationship. And people in abusive relationships completely understand that this is not a healthy relationship. The problem with it is like, how do you embody people and how do you embolden people in a way that now they can exit any type of uncomfortable situation? So my thing is whenever I work with people, whenever I do workshops, we always go back and we work our way forward. And it happens, sometimes it can happen quickly, sometimes it can happen over a duration of time because it's a life process. But you know, that's why you hear so many people say, I was raised this way, so I knew in my own relationship, I wasn't going to behave A, B, C, or D. And it's hard work, but it's very much doable because you know that you shouldn't be in a relationship where the guy's putting his hands on you or the girl's putting her hands on this person.
Verbal abuse is real.
They know that it is wrong because they knew that they went through it and they know how it made them feel, good, bad, or indifferent. I had a relationship with a young lady a long time ago, and she came from a relationship, and before we got into the serious relationship, we would talk about life and how you were raised, and all she would talk about was how her mother was a screamer, and she hated that, and this, that, and the other. Well, as soon as we became a couple and we had a disagreement, her method was to scream and yell. And I'm already like, listen, you know that that's not cool, but why do you choose to do that?
I don't
Well,
use
that's how I was
screens.
raised, this and the other. But you knew you didn't like that. So you can make that choice to say, you know what? I'm not going to choose to yell or scream. I'm just not going to do it. As difficult as it may be, a lot of times we know what we know, but it's just easier, I feel in some cases, to say, well, that's how I was raised, or this, that, and the other. I'm quite sure your kids think that you love them immensely because the type of person that you are, even though you didn't have this type of relationship growing up with your parents, I know you love your kids immensely, and your kids will grow up saying that they grew up in a cocoon of love from you. And you may not have grown up like that because you've simply chosen not to do the same things. It really is that simple. But when I put it in that text, it's that simple. But it's work. It's hard work because when you have built-in excuses, you have built-in excuses. And people use those. I didn't grow up with my dad. Technically, my dad was in and out of my life. But my kids have been a part of my life from day one because I knew and understood the significance of being a part of their life throughout the whole journey. Even though we wasn't living under the same roof, I knew I was going to be a part of it. I don't drink or smoke or do drugs because my father, that's what derailed my father. So I don't do any of those things. But I grew up around it in some instance. But I've just made a conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm not going to partake in that. And it really is you making the decision. I don't know what your parents or what your childhood was like, but we talked about it briefly. But I can almost guarantee you that your relationship with your kids is totally different than a relationship with your mom.
That is 100% correct. Yeah, you're right. When you're right, you're right. I'm not going to argue with you when you're right. So Coleman, you're bringing out a whole lot of transparency today. I do not have a relationship with my mother. I actually have a relationship with my ex-boyfriend's mother better than I have a relationship with my own mother. So that's a little transparency for the day. And I think that's the reason why my children and I have the relationship that we do, because whatever I lacked in my childhood is what I give abundantly to my children. And that's for everything. That's for anything. They have more heat that they can stand. They hate the fact that the house feel like Haiti. They hate the fact that because my mother was always cold. She don't believe in anything over 48 degrees. I was freezing as a kid. So you're right. Like, you bringing up a lot of issues when I was 7 that are bothering me. And I'm like, these insecurities that I'm dealing with as an adult, these problems that I'm dealing with as an adult, the reason why I'm single today as an adult has everything to do with what happened to me as a child.
Man, and this is the dope part. Like what you're talking about now this is the work right here. This is what I call the work. So this is the dope part. The exact same stuff that you're going through. I went through a period in my life where I didn't trust love in the way that I needed to trust love. And I hurt so many people along the way because I knew how much these people loved me and these people wanted to be with me and these people wanted to do these amazing things with me. But because I was so hung up on the fact that the person that I thought should love me the most in this world didn't love me, it ruined relationships with people in an intimate way, as far as like boyfriend, girlfriend, that it should never have ruined because
I'll be right back.
I was so wounded and I knew it, but I just chose not to get out of it. And I chose not to trust love in the way that I knew I should because of the experience I went through. It caused me a lot of growing pain, but growing pains indeed that I had to go through. So part of one of my writings is that in the process, what I learned was that once I truly identified what my truth was, no matter what the answers are, when you're ready for your truth, you don't care what the answers are. Where before you try to manufacture the answers just to get through the day in the way you think you need to get through the day. But once you're authentically in a place where you're ready to grow, you don't care what the answers are anymore. You just want the truth. And so then from there, I learned how to love myself in the way that I needed to love the truth me. And then finally, I was able to be more compassionate towards myself. And the big thing that I learned was that at that point, I was no longer afraid of being loved again. I was afraid of being loved in a certain capacity because the person who I adored and I worshiped the most chose not to love me in the way that I thought I wanted him to love me. But coming full circle, the beautiful part of it is my dad loved me exactly in the way that he was supposed to because of the situation he was in. My mom never said a bad word about my father to this day. When my dad passed away, I called my mother and she and I both cried on the phone. That told me something about the love my mother and my father shared. But it also told me that, wow, I appreciate that my dad chose not to love me in the way that I thought he should when he was going through what he was going through. Because there's no way I could possibly understand where I would be had my dad, the person I worshiped the most, was in my life, or chose to be in my life, but he was at his absolute worst point making these terrible decisions. And essentially, he probably would have ruined me in some ways because I loved and trusted him so much that I would have given him a pass. But the crazy thing about it is, T and Q, my dad had more kids outside of me. I'm the oldest. I knew my dad was a part of my life for the first 7.5, 8 years of my life. He was sober, he was clean, the whole nine. So now my younger two brothers and my sister, when my dad passed away, I was telling them stories about my dad because the dad they grew up with wasn't the dad I grew up with. They wanted to hear stories about the dad I grew up with. How crazy is that? He lived in the same house with them basically their whole entire life, but he was on drugs the whole time. So they wanted to hear stories about the dad I knew.
And you know what? And that's not odd. There's a lot of family turmoil. Like, let's be honest, family reunion time about to be around the corner. There's a lot of turmoil in families today because if people know one aspect of their mommy or one aspect of their daddy, and daddy had, Papa was Rolling Stone and had many hats laid all over the city. So, there are issues and problems that siblings have, that the stepmothers have, that, and these are we heal better when we heal together. We have callers that do want to talk to you. We're on the line with Coleman G. Howard. The movement that is Truth, Love, Compassion is about changing the world for the betterment of everyone. There are two paths that we have traveled in order to change the world. We must have truth, love, and compassion in our hearts for ourselves, and we must have truth, love, compassion in the hearts of others. We have created a world that is becoming more and more devoid of truth, love, and compassion, which has led to a collective suffering for all of us that does not have to be the circumstance. The truth, love, compassion movement is about accepting ourselves and others in the moment that we are currently in and empowering each other to become a better citizen for the world. What will affect me directly at some point will undoubtedly affect you indirectly and vice versa, because we are all one. The Truth, Love, Compassion movement is about truly wanting for someone else what we want for ourselves. 617-282-0062. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can always hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever social media site that you wish to hit us up on. TaylaAndre, 617-282-0062. Good rising, caller, you're live. It's you, baby.
Yeah, okay. This situation is really jacked up.
Do you know how I can have them listen without the echo?
I ran into somebody.
Because I know these two.
She just turned
Connect
30, right? She's been
without
with
the
this guy
but
for
with the echo.
15 years. Who has brainwashed her into believing, and she says it like a mantra, I'm nothing without him. This man,
Is it bad?
It's bad feedback.
And jacks her up. She went to jail for him twice, so that he wouldn't have to do time. He did time for him twice, selling his drugs or holding his drugs.
Right?
And whenever you feel a little guilty, he may buy her a thing or two.
Oh, taco.
But She's been with him for 16 years. She just turned 30. This man is 67 years old. So you do the math. He's been messing with her since she was 14 and he was 51.
Wow.
And I don't know how her parents allow this. But you try to convince her that she's worth something and better than that and shouldn't be up under that. And she's like, I'm nothing without him. I'm nothing without him. I went to jail for him twice and this and that and that. And I've been with him 16 years. How do you convince somebody like that to think differently?
That is an excellent question. Thank you, Sakwa. And that goes not just for this one individual, but how do you what did you say, Coleman? I can love you the way that I can love you, but I can't love you the way that you want me to love you. You want me to love you a certain way because you were used to that type of abuse. I'm not trying to abuse you. I want to love you. So how do you, when in a relationship with somebody who doesn't love themselves, how do you even help to build them up? Because you love them enough to want to see them grow, want to see them know their self-worth.
This is like a very difficult part of the growth process for me and for everyone going forward. If you are in a relationship with a person, only when that person is truly, authentically ready to grow will that person grow. There's nothing you or I can do that will help another person grow if that person isn't ready to grow. It's just really that simple. And so a lot of times people sort of want to take that burden on, like, oh, I can do that. I call it the broken wing syndrome. A lot of people want to get these broken wing birds and they want to nurse them back to health. That's cool. But the reality is, when it comes to human beings, if that person is not ready to heal inside and he's not ready or she's not ready to heal and grow, there's nothing you or I could say or do that's going to inspire that person to be ready to grow, because they'll listen to everything. And the thing about it is, people know that they're in a bad situation and they convince themselves that this situation is something totally other than what it is. And the sad part about it is that when you're in a relationship like that, and this person is not in a position where he's ready to grow or receive your love in the way that you want to love him, then ultimately you stop growing in the way that you need to stop growing also. And the easiest thing to do is to stay. The hard thing to do is to leave. But the hard thing is what's going to allow both of you guys to grow in the way that you need to grow. Because if that person is choosing not to grow and they stymie your growth, now it's going to be a toxic situation all the way around. And the thing about it is, a lot of people say, well, isn't that turning your back on them? No, it's not turning your back on them. Actually, in actuality, what it's doing is you love them enough to allow them to have to grow. But the sad part about it is that sometimes that person doesn't love you enough to allow you to grow. And that's a very, very difficult situation. But you have to sometimes tell people, like, listen, in the space that I'm in, I can't love you in the way that you need to be loved. I can't be your 30-year-old mother and you're 32. I can't be that. You're fighting against something, or you're trying to supersede an emotion that may take years to supersede, and you probably never will. If the hurt is so deep and it's so layered from whatever reason, the possibility of your love superseding that is slim to none. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because in you, as cool as me and you are, this and the other, and everybody I meet, my internal love for myself is the fire that burns. And you can fan my fire, but you can't light my fire, nor can you dim my fire. It's not possible.
Coleman, really quickly, what about the people that are currently in relationships with, because you know the Oedipus complex and the Electra complex, those are real. You know, those are real things that people deal with, go through. So what about people that are currently in relationships and had a past where the mother or father lacked something and now they seek that out of their current relationship? is that necessarily one of those circumstances that you need to walk away from, because they clearly have mommy daddy issues? And he said,
Yeah, if you guys can literally face it straight up, like the first time someone tells me like, yo, nah, that ain't me, I ain't like that, or this, that, and the other, that's a relationship that is going to be a very toxic relationship. Because this is the deal. If a person has mommy or daddy issues, then you're not their mommy or their daddy. So how can you rectify that issue? You can't. There's nothing anyone could have done to make me understand what I learned on my own through my life process about the relationship I had with my dad. There's nothing anyone could do other than what I had to go through on my own spiritual and my own growth journey. Nothing. And I had amazing people. My mother, my grandmother. They would always pick me up when I would have my dad tell me he would come by to pick me. He's gonna come by and pick me up. I fall asleep on my suitcase, literally fall asleep on my suitcase waiting for my father. And he wouldn't come, or he didn't come for whatever reason. My grandmother, my mother was soft with her words. My grandmother was a little aggressive with her words because she loved me so much. But guess what? The soft words or the aggressive words didn't soothe the hurt in me, because it's about how you internalize. It's about how you grow out of. And as I became an older person, I didn't talk so much about it, but eventually I would start letting people know, and I would start talking about it slowly but surely, slowly but surely. But I was still working through this vortex of emotion. But the key to it is I was working through it. The person, you can support whoever wants to grow, but you can't fuel that person to grow. And that's what gets us caught up. We think that we can love you so much that we can love you right out of it. Nah, no, you can't. He has to love himself enough so that your love can support him as he loved himself out of the situation. Don't ever put too much on what your love means or what your love doesn't mean. You just simply love. Now, how that person uses your love to fuel what they do, that's on them. But if he's not loving himself enough to want to grow, then your love it means nothing. I hate to say it that way, but it just does. It means nothing. Because he can't even recognize your love for what it is if he can't love himself in the way that he needs to love himself. So my job is done. My job is simply to love Tayla in the way that I need to love Tayla. And Tayla, the rest is up to you, babe. My job is done. I have to simply love you. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like. You may not even receive it as love. You may receive it as, oh, this dude's trying to get at me. He's trying to kiss me. He's trying to this, that, and the other. Because when you don't see things, you don't see things clearly across the board in a lot of cases. But my job is done. As long as I know when I come at you, like you and I had a conversation the other day, I was just like, yo, we cool. So I'm going to give it to you like this, blah, 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 blah. But no one understands I would never put you in a harmful situation. Me and Q talk all the time. That's my man. And we'll sit down and we'll chop it up like real. I'm like, yo, Q, come on, man. Blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Q will just laugh like, all right, see, I got you. And we just laugh about it. Person, because it's different from person to person.
And they can hear.
How you love me and how Q loves me is two totally different loves, but it's love that I need in order for me to do the same in my life to people that love me and that I love. So anyone to do something that person isn't inspired from the inside out. Your love can support his growth, but your love can't be the fruit of his growth. It's not possible.
No doubt, man. See, we got to get you up here to Boston, man. Once the weather gets warmer, man, you got to come up here, man.
Once I finish once I finish this first book, I'm looking forward to basically setting up a bunch of little town halls. Got a few of them set up already, so and the book is about the same thing. It's about truth, love, compassion, but you can write about your feelings, and it's a question book. So once I get that done, I definitely want to come up there, man. Just do like little town hall book club. I'm gonna be doing a lot of moving around with that, so I got to get in Boston, yo. I got to come up there.
Hey, you already know, man. You already know. As soon as this weather breaks, man, when you got time, we got to blast these T-shirts, man.
No doubt, bro. I mean, like everything, like from the time you and I met, and like all the different spots that I'm in right now. So I'm like nationally, I'm in like a lot of different spots with the affiliates. And literally tomorrow, I leave to go to Houston with an event with McDonald's, and it's about bringing awareness to stopping abuse against children for the Ronald McDonald family. And everything is about how do you give kids a voice when they don't know how to use their own voice. So like the big shirt that we're taking up there is, the shirt says, "If you love me today, I'll change the world tomorrow." And for a kid, that's a powerful statement. But for me, when I wear that shirt, it's a powerful statement because it's real.
Oh, very real. Very real. I know the summer's coming up, man. I know you got a bunch of stuff jumping off, as always. Um,
This summer gonna be busy, too. It's gonna be,
uh,
but it's dope though, bro. Because it's about so many people are now aligning with the fact that how we've been doing it, it just doesn't work anymore. I mean, it's a broken system. It's a broken way of living your life when everything is so self-centered and everything is about me, me, me. So everything we try to focus on is no I, no me, no mine. That's the mantra. No I, no me, no mine.
just us, right?
That's it, bro. That's us and we, man. That's it, man. Everybody fueling one another. Everybody helping the next person grow. And a lot of people think like, oh man, this is like some utopic thought process. No, it's not. All you gotta do is look back at how our family were raised, how our moms and dads and grandparents were raised. That saying, it takes a village. That's real. Village.
We got to bring them old school values back, man. That's what it is. You know?
How you do that? How you do that?
You start by you take the first step, and we just empower any and everybody. I always try to come across like, I think Q, like one of the things, like when you and I first met, and a lot of people that I meet, it's like the same spirit. So like every time I talk about you, one of my young dudes I introduced you to when we went to that all vinyl event.
Yeah.
So with Q, I'm like, listen, man, all you gotta do is reach out to Q, bro. Q gonna hit you back, dog. So they finally finished their CD for promotion and performance. He hit me up, and I'm like, bro, you got Q number? I'm like, you ain't gotta. I'm like, hit Q up, man. You know who you are, Q.
Yeah, we chopped it up, man, a couple of times. He got that ball rolling. I saw the album cover. So they doing their thing down there, man.
Yeah, and it's cool how when you meet people. When I first met you, the first thing you said was like, "Yo, bro, anything I could do to help you," and that was the exact same words I'm giving back to you. Anything I could do to help you, man. Truly want to see other people's dreams come to fruition because it inspires you. If I see everybody around me that their dreams are crashing and burning, I mean, what you gonna think? You gonna be like, "Damn, this is crazy."
Yeah.
See around you, you inspire them, and their dreams come to fruition. Their dreams coming to fruition actually inspires you to go that much harder because now you can see and truly understand that, yo, this is possible. No matter how big or how small the dream may be, that's relative. It really is.
It's like that saying, man, you push me and I'll pull you, right? You know?
Hey, bro. That's it always, man. So now I truly enjoyed the fact that I was able to share some thoughts and some energy with you guys this morning on my 45th birthday. This is dope. This has been amazing, man. I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you. Love and appreciate you. Waking up with Tayla Andre Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. For those that are just now tuning in, the movement that is Truth, Love, and Compassion. Compassion is about changing the world for the betterment of everyone. What will affect me directly at some point undoubtedly will affect you indirectly and vice versa, because we are all one. The Truth, Love, Compassion movement is about truly wanting for someone else what we want for ourselves. I want to thank Q for waking up this rising and spending some time with us. Thank you, Q. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Feels good being back here early at 5 o'clock in the morning with the Tayla Andre show. Shout out my man Coleman G. Howard, man. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We do have one more caller on the line who just called, and we have a few seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and take this caller. Good rising, caller, you live.
Morning, everyone. My name is Tony, and I just was listening to the conversation. I'm on my way to work, and I listen to you in the morning, so it kind of gives me something to think about for the day, and how to talk to someone most of the time. But what I wanted to say to the brothers and every one of you all, what you give is what you get back. So if you wake up in the morning and you're positive and you give that positive energy off, you know what I mean? Then you get that same energy back. Some people may be happy, some people may not. But you cannot allow anybody to take your happiness away from you. You can just be grateful that you woke up in the morning. Because with that, when you wake up, that's a blessing. And the blessing is received from the Lord above. Just say, okay, open your eyes, let me blow some breath into your body. Now you go out there and do the right thing, or you can be positive. So it's only up to you, the individual. If you want to get that old school stuff back, just do it. That's all. And if you don't do it, because I grew up in it, if you don't do it, then nobody else will, and they will never know our history. God bless you. Have a wonderful morning.
Love and appreciate you, baby. So everybody just became a motivational speaker today. Thank you.
Uplift.
Thank you, Coleman. Uplift each other, love each other, truth, love, and compassion. Tell the truth, give love, show compassion. Coleman G. Howard, I can't tell you how many times I call you Howard G. Coleman. I have to be 100% transparent here. I have said Howard G. Coleman so many times in my head, and I have to no dyslexia, Coleman G. Howard. But I thank you, and like Q said, we're going to get you up here as soon as this weather breaks, baby.
Yeah. JD, you're doing amazing work. I check out the shows. I listen to them. It's great. I'm passing it out to all my friends, because someone that is in the struggle like you are, we definitely need to empower you in every way, shape, form, or fashion. Like I was telling you, once I do my first town hall down here, you're coming down, you're going to MC it, and that's how we're going to really start spreading the word big time. So I appreciate everything you do. Real talk.
Hey, see, before you get off, man, you got to give them that website. Tell them how to find you, how to get these T-shirts, all the info on you, man.
Yeah, just everything is my name, ColemanGHoward.com. And you can see my writing, you can see the shirts, you can see some of the things I'm up to. I don't keep my current event page nearly as current as it should be, but the most important thing, you can see my writing, and you can also see the different shirts that I'm doing. And I'll have 2-3 new ones up there within the next couple of weeks. So I appreciate all the love, all the support that everyone has given me. It has been more amazing than I ever thought it could.
You want to rock
That's the
out
beautiful
first?
thing about life. It always gives you a little bit more than you ask for.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love and appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome day today. Again, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Coleman G. Howard. No. Yes, but Coleman G. Howard is one of our sponsors. Truth, love, and compassion. What affects me directly will at some point undoubtedly affect you indirectly, and vice versa, because we are all one. The Truth, Love, Compassion movement is about truly wanting for somebody else what you want for yourself. I want to say happy birthday, Rochelle. That's my bestie. We ain't never met a day in our lives, but I made it my bestie. Happy birthday, baby. It's that Team Taurus coming up. Hey. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Zaz. Zaz is located in Hyde Park. Some of the best natural whole foods, good foods. You'll love it. Zaz in Hyde Park. And also Faith Natural. I have almost every single product of Faith's Natural in my house, whether it's the soap. I have the black mud soap, which is a detox and uses activated charcoal. I don't even know what activated charcoal is, but it works. It clears up blemishes. It helps with acne. Also helps with eczema, which is for Asaria. And today's product is the Yoni Health Steam. Relieves heavy menstrual cramps, tightens the vajayjay, and balances hormone levels of the uterus. Available at Faith's with an S, Natural with an S, beauty.com, and that will be posted on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page. Do not forget, girls, it's about to be summertime season, and you got to get the pum pum wash. It's not about a summer's night, it's about the feminine wash of Faith's Natural, all natural products. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an awesome day. If you missed any of today's conversation, head over to mixcloud.com, or you can just go over to YouTube and watch. I think we got 60 videos so far. 60 videos for you to watch. We have 500 Mixclouds for you to listen to.
Really?
We coming up. Keep coming up. Moving on up.
Yo, quick shout out to everybody on Periscope.
Yes.
Checking in this morning. Love y'all.
Yo, we had our check-ins from Africa. Shout out to Africa. Africa. I love it.
The motherland.
What is this that you've been playing in the background now? I'm feeling it.
That's my favorite song right here.
Your favorite song?
Oh, yes.
Can we play it non-instrumental? Can we hear a little something?
We
Hey.
got this.
I love you. I love you. I really, really love you. So we can't play the song in studio because YouTube will come get me.
Really?
I love it.
Best of Me by Anthony Hamilton. You guys got to look it up because YouTube will shut me down if I keep playing other people's music. Q, say bye to YouTube.
Bye, YouTube. Have a good day. Peace, love, and compassion, baby.
I am truth, love, compassion.
You are?
Black boys dream too.
In my case, yellow boys dream too. Till I get my tan in the summer.
And they also have a little black girl's dream too. When we heal together, it's better than healing alone.
Mm-hmm.
What's another t-shirt?
There's
a lot of t-shirts.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of them that serve for almost every purpose that you can imagine. So I hope you guys have an amazing day today. Mwah!